Welcome, ladies and cut. Look. I've already told you once, okay? Stop with all this. Oh, this is filming. No, listen to me, all right? Stop. Oh, cooning around. Oh, I'm the film doctor. Stop with all that, okay? Do it how we practice. Okay? Stop it. Okay, well, welcome to Film Addict. I'm your host, the Film Doctor. I'm so excited for this episode. It's not only our second episode as we're moving forward, but there's a lot of exciting movies that we're going to be reviewing. I've been looking forward this entire week to this trailer for New Mutants. Now, they've held back New Mutants a couple of times due to, rights for the term mutants. So I'm excited to see the direction that they go with this. They released the first trailer. It was pretty good. This movie was supposed to come out a long time ago before Dark Phoenix. After pushing it back, doing some refilming, they've managed to put together a project that's supposed to hopefully connect to the whole Marvel series. So without further ado, I'm going to jump right into it. Let's get to the reaction of what's coming soon, the New Mutants.
What's the last thing you remember, Danny?
These damn movies.
The reason you survived is because you're a very uncommon girl. You're not alone. Not anymore. Do you know what mutants are? Would anyone like to share their first time? Rain?
I was 13. I thought it was a dream. I just lost control.
Sam?
I started panicking. People got hurt.
Roberto?
My girlfriend had burned her.
What the fuck?
Ileana?
I killed 18 men. One by one. This isn't a hospital. It's a cage.
That music's sweet.
It's important we find out your color so we can help you get better.
I saw something. I don't think she wanted me to see.
Nothing better jump out.
We're here to get better.
Okay. And it did. See, this is what I'm talking about.
Takes your greatest fear and makes you live through it until it kills you.
Please don't jump out. Do not jump out.
There.
Don't do anything, please.
We can get out of this together.
There we go. Does that chick have a lightsaber? First of all, I forgot to tell everybody that this movie was supposed to be the first horror Marvel film. If you guys remember when Deadpool came out, I think it's Deadpool that was like the first R-rated film. If it wasn't Deadpool, it was Wolverine. But when they first released the first R-rated film, I mean, everyone lost their mind. So for this to be the first horror superhero Marvel film, I think is huge. Definitely scared the crap out of me. I need to get to a point where I stop doing trailer reactions to horror movies, maybe like a comedy, a Disney movie that isn't affiliated with Disney, like Moana 2 or something, if that ever comes out, because I'm tired of jumping and looking like a girl on camera, with all the people that are watching this video. So I think it's going to be good. I'm so excited. I'm a huge Marvel fan. Phase 4 is supposed to be starting. I don't think this is a part of Phase 4. I'm not really positive. But either way, whether it's a part of Phase 4, it's still a Marvel film. It still deals with superheroes. It still deals with X-Men, which I'm a huge fan of. I think that it's new characters, new mutants. I almost said superheroes. I guess they could be superheroes, but new mutants that we've never seen before. So I'm excited to see the direction that they're going to go into. And all in all, I think that that was a really good trailer, and I think the movie is going to be good, if not great. So let's move to the next segment, which is in theaters now. I'm trying to be very careful with this movie because I'm gonna even start with the rating. I'm gonna start with the rating and say that this movie was an A+. In all honesty, it was probably, hands down, one of the best movies I've seen in a very, very long time. And we're talking about Just Mercy. It stars Jamie Foxx and Michael B. Jordan. Now, first of all, their on-camera chemistry is phenomenal. The acting was phenomenal. And the reason why I say that is because when you look at acting, acting is supposed to be something that you can connect to the character and the feelings and the emotions that they're going through. And I think that this movie, with Jamie Foxx's performance, I think you really are captivated. You're brought into his life, his story, how he feels, the emotion of what he was going through, all those trials and tribulations. And that's essentially what acting is. A lot of people look and say, well, is acting, a movie with Meryl Streep and it's Downtown Abbey or whatever the name of that movie is, or some of these other movies. And that's how many of performances like Heath Ledger's performance as Joker inside of Dark Knight was almost overlooked until he received an award for his performance. And I think it's because you can't look at, is it a superhero movie? Is it this? Is it that? Was Meryl Streep in it? Was Leonardo DiCaprio in it? What makes a good movie with good acting for some of these individuals to win these awards is solely based on if you were able to feel and connect to them. And I cannot tell you enough times. First of all, I would go see this movie again today, tomorrow, Monday. That's how good of a movie it is. This movie dealt with racism as being the sole topic, specifically racism in the South. Way back in the day, maybe I think it was about the 80s, 60s to the 80s time period. So in my eyes, I hear a lot about how racism is still alive inside of the South, and it was worse, years and years ago. But I think that this was a life lesson to people of all cultures, of all races, of all kinds, because it kind of taught you the values and importance of being kind to one another. It taught you about how people essentially were and how people's rights and their freedoms were taken from them. It had a connection that regardless of what race and culture you are, you were able to connect to each of the characters and kind of have a deeper understanding maybe on things that you've seen, how other people are, how you are to people. It was almost just as important as a history movie, like seeing 1917 and learning what happened then. This was a movie that was an eye-opener for a lot of people based on a true story. Dealing with maybe the music. The music was phenomenal. The music had a lot of gospel hymns. It had a lot of music that was very popular during that time period. And those songs were so powerful. They were put at certain points where certain emotional feelings were being conveyed and portrayed on camera, and that heightened the acting. It made you sucked in, and I'm man enough to say, like, I teared up. I was like, this is deep. That this individual went through this kind of stuff. The cinematography, it was decent cinematography, but it was good because the imagery, what you see on camera, if there's something that was going on, they made sure that you see certain faces and certain emotions and certain reactions to how things were. Ice Cube's son was also in that. I don't know how to pronounce his name, so I don't want to mess it up. O'Shea Jackson. Ice Cube's son was in it. And even he did really good. And how the movie began to how the movie ended, it was just perfect storytelling. It was perfect acting. It was perfect everything you can imagine inside of a movie that would suck you in. So it's not, in my eyes, it's not something that would turn you off and make you say, you know what, the music was all right. Even if the music was crap, I think all in all, you could be lost inside of just the story, wanting to know what happened next, wanting to know how his trial was going to go, and having the sense of being attached to each character. And that, I think, was super important. So I give that movie an A+. Moving forward, let's move into must see. This movie, honestly, I would start with the rating again, but I want to talk about it a little bit, because this movie, like the last one talked about racism, this one talks about white supremacy. It stars Daniel Radcliffe, who played as Harry Potter. This movie was a different performance than what you would see Daniel Radcliffe inside of Harry Potter. He honestly showed his acting capabilities to be able to jump out of that kind of role and jump into something more serious, where he plays like an FBI agent or an agent of the law in some capacity. I don't know what bureau he dealt with. I want to say it was FBI, if I remember correctly. And he went undercover. Now, he wasn't even like an undercover agent. He was more like a behind the desk kind of person. And he was asked to go undercover and try and take down this organization that is ran by a leader of a white supremacy group. This movie, yet again, it had so much emotion in it. It had a lot of thrilling points. It really captivated you to a point where you're sucked in. Where you're sucked in and you're like, what is going on? You see certain points inside of this movie while he's undercover where his cover could possibly be blown. And so I think that those are the bigger points. You know, you really want to see, is he going to make it through? The cinematography was great. It had certain points where when you're seeing things on camera, like it was showing you the right things at the right moment. All right, so I don't want to give too much away to say this, but like there's a scene where they're outside of this restaurant, okay? And something's going on, and they're not even showing you what's happening, but they're showing you the reaction of how the white supremacists and Daniel Radcliffe's character are taking this situation. And then you cut to an understanding of seeing what they're looking at, what they're talking about. And so to me, the reason why that's important inside of cinematography is because it keeps you guessing, it keeps you engaged, it keeps you looking at the imagery and trying to understand or assume or guess more of what could possibly happen. And I think that that makes you a part of that film, because now you're into it, you're engaged, you're looking at what's going on, and you're trying to figure out more. The music was dark. Boom, 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 like a heart beating. And I think for that kind of music, like it wasn't something where it was like a famous singer or a rapper or whatever kind of music being performed. It was just the beat. The beat was always pumping. The beat was always like a thrilling moment. Boom, 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 boom. Like you were always in the moment. You were always drawn to, oh my God, this is heightening, this is getting bigger, this is happening, it's about to go down. And I love that kind. It's almost like going on a roller coaster. Like when you get on that roller coaster and you're going up, boom, boom, click, 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 all the way to the end, and then you drop. I think that was the same kind of tone and feeling that the music brought inside of Imperium. All in all, I think that what makes this movie the rating that I gave it is the story. The story was great. It was unique. It was something that we've really never seen before. We've really never seen from this actor. And it talked about a topic that is so relevant. Just like the whole racism thing, there are still white supremacists out there. There are still people that alienate, dislike, and hate different races and cultures, whether it be based on their gender or their religion, their race, whatever the case may be. This movie was prevalent to each and every person. I think that the world is moving towards a better direction. It may look like we're declining, but all in all, with movies like this, with even the things that are going on, I think it's an eye-opener to us, for us to see that we need to become better people. And so therefore, that's why I appreciate this movie. I give this movie an A. it was definitely worth seeing. I know that it's a movie that not many people have heard of. When you say Imperium, somebody's like, Imperium? Never heard of that. But you say Avengers Endgame, they're like, yeah, I've heard of that. Imperium is something that I think it came to theaters, but it wasn't really talked about. But that movie, I think, is overlooked. If you haven't seen it, I recommend seeing it. I want to thank you guys for joining me inside of Filmatic. This has been a great episode. I'm your host, the Film Doctor. Please, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit that bell, do it up. Let me know what you think. And this has been another exciting episode of Filmatic.